Welcome into another edition of your only source for Laker sports. It's Laker Connections right here on WTOP 10. I'm Ryan Joyce.
And I'm Zach Mountain. Ryan, we had a week off for fall break, but it's great to be back.
I'm excited to be back here, man. It's going to be a great time. Well, Zach, we had a lot of sports happen over the past weekend, including some weekend festivities. So why don't we roll back the camera and start us off with this past week in Laker sports.
Let's do it, Ryan. It was a long week for the Oswego men's soccer team as they were officially eliminated from playoff contention after their 4-2 loss to the Buff State Bengals on Wednesday. This was after the Lakers' third scoreless tie of the season down in New Paltz on Saturday. This was also the Lakers' 7th tie overall on the year. Ryan, the story of this season has been too many ties, and it ultimately hurt the Lakers in the end.
Yeah, and this year it's really been an offensive struggle there for Oswego. 7 ties in the year, their most in program history. 5 ties last year, their second most. So we haven't seen Oswego struggle like this in a long time. For Oswego, in case of they tied the first one against New Paltz, second game yesterday, Liam Rothar gets it started early, something Oswego hasn't had happen so far this year. And then just Diego Rivera, his kind of game. 3 goals, hat trick for himself, 14 goals in the season. Oswego only has 14 goals as a team on the season. So kind of an interesting stat there. And then Oswego gets that one in the last minute. But it's really been just the offensive struggle for Oswego. And for the most part, just Borgioli's played really well, but just the fact that they just haven't been able to get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Ryan, more ties against Geneseo and New Paltz, and you talk about this game. Leo Rothar grabs the early goal, but Diego Rivera was unbelievable. Grabs his 14th goal of the season, and the hat trick to really put this one out of reach for Oswego. But they get the early goal. Like I said, the defense then all of a sudden just takes a nap in the end. A 1-1 game, just 8 minutes in, they let up 2 goals in 9 seconds. 9 seconds. Unbelievable stuff from the Laker defense. It's really just unacceptable for the Lakers, and there's really no way to sugarcoat it. They really were lackadaisical on the defensive side.
And for Oswego, I mean, it's a very good Buff State team. They played a very good Buff State team who's top in the SUNYAC right now, but also a team for Oswego who just they can't get it going early, and even when they get it going early, it's just the defensive struggles and not being able to get shots off in their zone. From the men's to the women's, where Coach McGrain and the women's soccer team are playing some of their best soccer at their best time. The squad has played some of the best defensive games of the year, including tying with top-ranked New Paltz Saturday, and they're going on the road Wednesday to beat Buff State 2-0. Zach, the Lakers have surely found themselves in a great spot come playoff time.
Yeah, Ryan, the Lakers have a real shot at hosting. As we look at the standings, Cortland sits top of the pack. New Paltz in second place. Brockport sits in third. Oswego right there in 4th place, but they do play Cortland this weekend. Then Plattsburgh and Geneseo, and that rounds up the playoffs. All of these teams are confirmed playoff berth. Those will be the 6 teams in there. But the Lakers, like I said, they have a real shot of hosting. New Paltz is playing Fredonia. Probably will win that one, but second place is wide open for the Lakers if they knock off Cortland on Saturday. Brockport's also hosting Potsdam. Crazier things have happened. Potsdam sits at the bottom. I mean, the last game of the year, they could be coming out fighting. The Lakers, like I said, they could be in that 2 spot very easily at the end of the weekend.
You know, Oswego, a big game coming up this weekend. We'll see. We'll talk more about that in the next block. But for Oswego, I mean, just the defensive side of the ball, it's kind of different from the men's side, the women's side, where Oswego just defensively, only 8 goals allowed all year. Perry Anderson, really the leader for this Oswego team, being one of the great best goaltenders in the whole SUNYAC. And then in that Buff State game, Del Grasso's been great all year. Bad ball management by Buff State. She gets the ball kind of left and right and gets in the net for her 5th goal of the year. But for Oswego, it's just been out-shooting teams and keeping the ball in the offensive zone. And it's really been a struggle for the other teams playing Oswego because it's just been a constant attack for Oswego the entire time.
Yeah, credit to Oswego. They knew what they needed to do in that Buff State game. Really ended up getting the job done. A really solid performance by Oswego, and they kept a ton of goals out. That was the biggest thing. But the Oswego State volleyball team celebrated Senior Day on Saturday with a 3-2 victory against Oneonta. The Lakers celebrated 6 seniors, with one of them, Kaylee Troy, tallying 19 digs in a match for the 4th time this season. Junior Cara Simplicio was on fire once again with a match-high 15 kills, with a couple of them coming in the 5th and final set. The Lakers were coming off a 3-1 loss on Friday night against New Paltz. Ryan, a massive win for the Lakers, and even with the struggles, they're in a playoff spot right now.
That is crazy. I mean, looking back at the beginning of the year, they had 1 win for about the first 3-4 weeks of the year, and just a great turnaround for Coach Stemmen and his team. I mean, for Oswego, won 2 out of their last 3, been playing great volleyball there right now. You kind of mentioned Grace Grace Taylor, Georgia Ferry, Kaylee Troy kind of leading the way there for Oswego on the senior side. And Oswego, they're tied. They're on line to make the playoffs, tied with Buff State and Plattsburgh right now. There's a very serious consideration. You know, a couple weeks ago we weren't sure if they were going to make it, but they're on a line right now to make that playoff spot and have a chance to win a couple games here come October.
Yeah, Ryan, credit to the Lakers for digging deep versus Oneonta. However, they have a gauntlet of a schedule the next 2 weekends. They play 3 of the top 5 SUNYAC teams on the road. Unbelievable schedule for the Lakers. Meanwhile, Plattsburgh, Potsdam, Oneonta all face each other, meaning one of them is going to end up moving up in the standings. Right now, if you look at the Lakers, they do have a shot. It is very, very slim. They need to win some of those road games. They have been better on the road. I think they've tried to figure things out. That'll probably help them in the end, trying to grab those big wins.
And a team who didn't have their first home win up till a couple weeks ago, been playing great at home recently. I mean, we're looking at some of the highlights here. Oswego played great against the Oneonta game, kind of a thriller there in the 5-set, matchup, and one that was on senior day, one that they really wanted. I mentioned a bunch of seniors here beforehand. They really want to make the playoffs. Had a great year last year and kind of, making a run for going to a potential playoff spot. Well, that'll do it for this week of Lakers Recap. Up next, we talk about the week ahead, only heard here on WTOP 10.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No,
right
but you've
here.
got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
What's going on?
Yeah, we go on at like 11:30. It's like
No.
What do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Yeah, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Whoa. Did you know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow.
Wow.
Get a close-up of that one. Matthew.
Broadcast news.
Look at that.
Can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
Welcome back to Laker Connections. I'm Zach, he's Ryan, and Ryan, as our buddy Jared Wakefield would say, we're paddling into the week ahead. What do we have in store for the Lakers?
I love the puns here today, but moving to turf, where the field hockey team will travel to play a SUNYAC foe in the Oneonta Red Dragons on Saturday. Both teams found themselves at 1-3 in the season in the conference and look to be a close, even matchup. Zach, the Lakers are looking to end the season strong with 3 games left.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, the Lakers have not been bad this season. Of course, the record 5-10 and 0-2 in conference. But you see the goals, 2.07, and then the goals against 1.93. They're pretty solid. They put the ball in the back of the net. The thing about this matchup going into this weekend against Oneonta's kind of the same as them. They put more goals in than they allow, but Oneonta allows a lot more goals. The Lakers' one problem, couple bounces just have not gone their way. They lost a ton of goals with Caitlin Mastracco out the door. There is still hope for this team, though. It's a must-win game, though, down in Oneonta this weekend. They need to find ways to really put one away.
Yeah, a pretty similar team you mentioned with Oneonta. Looking at here, I mean, goals per game, a lot more than Oswego. But what Oneonta does is allow more goals. They've just been more on the scoring attack. But defensively, this is definitely a team, if you're Oswego, you can go after them on the offensive side. But Oswego really struggling so far this season. For Oswego, they have to go against Morgan Fleming, who's second in the conference in goals. you don't want to go against those kind of players at the end of the season on your route for a playoff spot. And Oswego, we're 5-10 right now, and or 0-2 in the conference. They really had a back-end schedule where they had a lot of more conference games at the end of the season. And for a team struggling to score, what's a better time to do it against a team like Oneonta, who's kind of a similar team in the conference?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the biggest thing for Oswego is to handle Oneonta's ability to score. The Lakers on defense, you mentioned it, they've been really solid so far this season. They've lost games, 2-0, 1-0, very, very close in conference. If they put the ball in the back of the net, it'll definitely lead to success for them. It all comes down to this for the Oswego State women's soccer team. After clinching a playoff berth on Wednesday, the Lakers will celebrate Senior Day Saturday in front of the Laker faithful as they host one of the top teams in the SUNYAC, SUNY Cortland. For Oswego, it's win plus some help elsewhere, and they'll host the SUNYAC semifinal next Saturday. If they lose, the Lakers will play on Wednesday. Where they play, it's all dependent on Saturday's results, Ryan.
And yeah, Oswego's found themselves in a really good spot this season, 4th in that conference. Really tough matchup coming here for Oswego against the Cortland team. Looking at it right now, Cortland 8-2-5 in the conference, at the top of the league in the conference too as well. And I mean, for Oswego, it's going to be a tough matchup. They're going to have to play kind of above their weight a little bit here. Cortland, I mentioned undefeated in conference. Oswego hasn't beat Cortland in the last 4 matchups, and Anderson and Spendell on their team, 3rd and 4th in goals in SUNYAC. So another team that scores a lot, but for Oswego, it's going to have to rely on that defense we were talking about earlier. Like such a great season defensively, not allowing teams to score, and Cortland's a team that can really score the ball. And for Oswego, they're going to have to find ways to score. Del Grasso, other players on the team, Jackie Marquardt, it's going to have to find a way to get it going here, and maybe an upset here for the Lakers.
Yeah, Ryan, I couldn't say it better. A big test this weekend for Oswego. Cortland's defense is rock solid. They've allowed 2 or more goals just twice this season, a really solid defense. And the Lakers need their experienced players to step up and find a winner. Players like Katie Del Grasso as well as Lugina Soro. They'll be the difference in this one because they can rely on their defensive line. And they know that a lot of goals won't be allowed in, but just putting the ball in the back of the net on the offensive end will definitely help the Lakers maybe grab a victory, maybe an upset on their home field.
And I mean, Oswego so far has played so great on the defensive side of the ball. I think some of their losses really come from just little mistakes they made, and in this Cortland game, going to be a big matchup, have to minimize those. Going to the Laker turf for the men's soccer team goes down to Red Dragon country and plays Cortland for their last game of the year Saturday. This Lakers team had a rough go of things on the offensive end, and have had the most ties in program history at 7 this season. Zach, Coach Kane and his squad have found themselves in many games this season. They just haven't got the job done.
Yeah, Ryan, and we look at this screen right here, the Lakers, their season has just been really rough, and the goals really stand out. 1 goal per game, just not enough for the Lakers. They could not find a way. I mentioned it, a case of the ties. They always found a way to tie and just could not finish the job. And Cortland, the best team in the conference by far, 12-2-2 on the year, 6-1-1 in conference. A really solid group they have down in Cortland. And going up against the defending champs, top team in the SUNYAC, I think the message heading into this game, just go out and play your heart out. Play for your seniors, play for your team. They have nothing to lose in this one. All the pressure's on Cortland.
Yeah, the team who really hasn't got it going this season. I mean, look at Cortland. Cortland on the women's side and the men's side, really a powerhouse kind of program there. Been great all year. Oswego eliminated from the playoffs. You mentioned nothing to lose here. A lot of seniors in the team, I'm sure they want to get a big win to end it off. They're not going to the playoffs, but want to have a game where they play in full kind of cohesion. And on the Cortland side, I mean, allow under 1 goal a game, 0.8 goals a game. That's unbelievable for this team. And Cortland has a player in every top 5 category in the SUNYAC. It's crazy.
But coming up, it's the Wheelhouse Wire. You're watching Laker Connections on WTOP 10.
What's going on?
Yeah, we go on at like 11:30. It's like
No.
What do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Matt, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Did you know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow.
Wow.
Get a close up of that one.
Broadcast news.
Look at that.
Can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
la la. Free. La 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 la. La 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 la. Free.
We'll deep dive into our feelings in our Real Talk segment. Stay tuned because it's about to get real.
Welcome back to Laker Connections right here on WTOP 10, and hockey was finally back this weekend, and you know what that means. It is time for the fan favorite segment, Wheelhouse Wire. Zach, let's start it off and highlight the previous and upcoming matchups in the Deb.
Yeah, well, Ryan, the men's hockey team began their preseason with a bang and a 9-1 victory over Kings College on Saturday. Kings opened the scoring just a couple minutes in, but the Lakers' firepower was too much with 9 unanswered goals. Senior Noah Bull was the star of the show in this one with 2 goals and 2 assists on the night. Oswego won the shots on goal battle 52-17 in a dominant performance at the Deb. It was a King-type start for the Lakers. Ryan?
I mean, for Oswego, what an offensive attack in this game. I mean, looking at some of the goals here, 9-1 win. I mean, contributions from everyone on the ice. We had, Richie Perron started off in goal, and then we had Cal Shell second period, and then the new guy, Milberg, third period. Let really nothing up except for that early one. And for Oswego, I mean, new players, Brock Krulicki, Travis Baker, Jonathan Bala, all contribute in this game and really play great in the natural zone, not really getting, Kings College to get anything in their zone.
Yeah, a really great start to the season for this Lakers hockey team, Ryan. And they got caught on a bad change for the Kings opener. Tremendous defensively throughout after that. I mean, you look at it offensively, they were very, very strong. Noah Bull, 2 goals, 2 assists. But the Lakers defense put in great work in the offensive zone. I think 5 of the goals came from great work at the blue line. I mean, that stands out big time for the Lakers. This weekend marks the final week of preseason play for the Oswego State Lakers. The Lakers will bring in the Alvernia Golden Wolves of the UCHC. Alvernia is coming off their inaugural season where they went 8-16-2. The Golden Wolves bring back a load of returners along with 7 freshmen this season. This Alvernia team is tough and hungry, Ryan, and they won't be an easy test for these Lakers.
Yeah, and Oswego gets another team from that UCHC conference from Reading, Pennsylvania. Their second years of program. Oswego played last week Kings College, their 5th or 6th years of program, and kind of looking at it last year. Alvernia actually had a pretty good season last year, despite the record, 8-16-2. 2.8 goals per game, a lot of goals. That's what's going to happen with a new program. They got a big win against Naz last year, kind of one of the top dogs in the UCHC conference. Naz, who went to the title game last year, like really great. And they bring back Jason Finion, who had a great first year last year, 11 goals, 18 points. He was only a freshman last year. His first year comes back for a second year, looking to have a good one here against Oswego.
Yeah, Ryan, you mentioned it. The goals are really big for Oswego, and last year they were huge for the Lakers. I'm going to go back quickly to the defense that I was talking about in the last segment. A team last year that scored 100 goals, just 17 of those came from defense. They need to really pick up that, and it takes some pressure off the big scorers up front.
Well, the women's hockey team found themselves back in the Deb for their first game of the season, facing a familiar opponent in the London Junior Devils out of London, Ontario, for the 2nd year in a row. The Lakers lose a couple key players from their top lines this upcoming year, but bring in a new recruiting class of 6 new players looking to find similar success from last year.
Yeah, Ryan, and similar to last year, Coach Digby really testing his players. I'm a huge fan of it. We looked at the ranked opponents for this year. They're playing number 2, number 3, number 6, number 13, and number 14.
It's a gauntlet.
Like a gauntlet of a schedule. 2 of those teams, Plattsburgh and Cortland, are in the SUNYAC. They'll be going up against them. But what really stands out to me, the huge trip to Amherst on New Year's Eve, that team lost in the national championship last season, and Adrian over Thanksgiving. It could give the Lakers some motivation and pretty much a clear picture of how to get by a team like Plattsburgh when the end of the year comes around.
And London's a great team. I mean, Oswego's played them multiple times over the past couple seasons, played them in 2019, played them last year, lost 9-5 last year, but it's a very talented team. A lot of young girls from Canada who eventually make their way to Division I high teams or even on their national team. Pinkton Rink this weekend is going to be a big weekend. They're going to want to get it done here for the first game. And good test for Oswego. Oswego kind of a veteran team, lost a lot of players last year. Ariel Haas, Mia Conboy come to mind. But a team for Oswego that, they have nothing to lose playing against, an exhibition game, not going to count in the schedule, but, a game that Oswego wants to get going on the offensive side.
Yeah, I think they really need to rely on those experienced players this weekend. Really come back to what's helped you years in the past. Ashlyn McGrath, I'll talk about her later, but that's a big one.
That'll do it for the Wheelhouse Wire. When we come back, our very own Matt Chiramita will cause some chaos between Zach and myself because it's Lakers Showdown next on WTOP 10.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We're here for you, we're here for you. This is your channel 2. With sports and news and what to do, we're here for you. It's your TV, you're watching WTOP. Your TV, thanks for watching WTOP.
La 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 la. Breathe. La 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 la. La 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 la. Freeze.
Welcome back to Laker Connections. I'm your moderator, Matt Chiramita, and it is now time for everybody's favorite segment of the night, Laker Showdown.
Let's go.
I'm excited. If you guys don't know how this works, I'm going to ask these guys some questions, and they're going to yell at each other in order to convince me that their answer is the best one. Gentlemen, are you guys ready?
Let's do it. I'm born for this, Matt. I'm born for the debate. Let's go.
All right, so let's do the first question here. The Oswego State women's soccer team is coming off a 2-0 win against Buff State and play their last regular season game on Saturday. Coach McGrain has led the squad to a nod-worthy 6-2-6 record. The team has been well-rounded overall, but which side of the ball has impressed you guys the most? Offense or defense? Ryan, we're both wearing blue suits. I'll let you start this week.
Let's go. I think it's the defensive side. Obviously, Oswego struggled a little bit on the offensive side. We really hit that in the first couple blocks. Only allowed 8 goals all year. I mentioned Perry Anderson kind of there at the bottom, anchoring this entire Oswego team in the whole way. 83% save percentage for Perry Anderson. That can't get much better. Second to Suniak, and has only allowed 3 goals in the month of October in 5 games. So an Oswego team really firing on the defensive end. Offense, they're pretty good, but defense is really what's getting it done and why they're the 4th team of Suniak and going to try to knock off Cortland here coming soon.
All right, Ryan, it's offense. It really is. They are the better team on the road. They're unbelievable on the road. They have failed to score just once in 8 games on the road. This is a team that may be traveling on the road in the playoffs. That's all that matters right now. So those road games are huge, especially for a team. Like I said, they're traveling during the postseason. The defense has been really strong, but you can't win if you don't score, Ryan.
I think defense wins championships. I mean, look at any sport. Defense is the key. Defense is the main thing that's going to separate you from other teams that win a championship. And for Oswego on their end, they haven't allowed anyone to score. And when you don't allow anyone to score on a Oswego team who's only really had 1 or 2 goals this year, defense is going to win it all.
Listen, I mean, the old adage is typically defense wins games, But I'm going with the offense here. I think you make a compelling argument with the road games.
Let's go.
So next question. The women's hockey team makes their long-awaited return to the ice this Saturday, their first game in the deb of the season. The squad looks pretty different than last year with 6 new faces on the roster. Who do you guys think will stand out most for the team this year? Zach, take it away.
I think it's going to be Ashlyn McGrath. It's pretty easy choice for me. A team leading 13 goals last season. An unbelievable player. They lost Ariella Haas, their captain up front. Team leader, Ashlyn McGrath, with 3 power play goals on a team that was second worst last year in the new AHL. McGrath carries a huge weight on her shoulders to continue that production that she was able to bring to this team last year. And one of the leaders on this team really stepping up. I think it's definitely McGrath.
So we talked about the anchor on the soccer side. We're going to talk about the anchor on the hockey side. Lexi Levy, top 4 in the Newell last year in all goalie categories. .92 save percentage, pretty good. Can't get much better than that. 583 saves, leader of the team. And, if she does her job, Oswego can do their job. And, this is fully her job this year. They brought in a couple new goalies this year, but this is really her job to win this year. And I think she's going to figure it out, and she's going to be the anchor for this team.
I got to give credit to defense, though.
Well, last time we went with the offense, but this time we're going with the defense. I got to go with the goalkeeper with this one. We got a tie match here. All comes down to this right here.
Okay.
Are you guys ready for the last question? All right. Fall sports are winding down here in Laker country. We have potentially 2 teams making the SUNYAC playoffs this year. After some standout performances across the 6 fall sports teams, we have who was the MVP for fall sports this year?
Who's starting off? Okay, great. My MVP is, we mentioned a team that a couple weeks ago wasn't even in playoff consideration. And the Oswego volleyball team, Cara Simplicio, the junior, she's a team MVP, leading team back into a playoff spot. Obviously, a couple people helping her too as well, but she's really been that leader very well. Top 2 in with kills the team, top 3 in digs, leads team in service aces, top 5 in blocks, top 5 in all those offensive categories for the Oswego team. 4 games this year with 10 kills, more than anyone on the team, and stands out in a team full of seniors. A lot of seniors who could be playing over her, but she's been a real big thing for Oswego this year, finding their way back into that playoff spot.
I give you credit for Simplicio, but I'm going to talk about the top team in fall sports right now for Oswego, the women's soccer team. And I'm going with, under the radar, women's soccer defender, senior captain Jillian Groth. Give credit to Perry Anderson. She's been tremendous this year. The Lakers have allowed 101 shots overall this season. That's #1 in the SUNYAC, and the least amount they faced in 25 years, guys. A ton of that credit goes to the defense. Like I said, Perry Anderson's great, but a huge reason for that is Jillian Groth, a beast on defense, and a huge reason why Oswego is so successful right now.
That's great. They're a winning team, but for the other side, Oswego volleyball, she's been great all year. She's led them back to what they needed to be, and a team that was kind of down, had no shot to make it to the playoffs, has done really well.
That's great, but we're talking about a team right now that's in the playoffs. They're already there, and credit on there goes to the defensive side.
All right,
Jillian Groth.
I'm not convinced. We're going with Zach here.
Yes, let's go.
Jillian Groth, let's
First
go.
W of the season. Thank you. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Not my best performance. We'll figure it out next week. We'll get a good one.
We got another one to go.
For Oswego, we have a lot of teams. The volleyball team I mentioned, I'm so passionate about Cara Simplicio and that team. Really a team that was down kind of in the trenches, a team that really didn't have kind of a shot to make the playoffs, really figured it out, and they have a big game coming this weekend. For Oswego soccer too, huge game this weekend, have a chance to really make themselves up in kind of the standings and make a playoff here.
Maybe their first home win of the year. How big would it be? Knocking off Cortland? Let's go. I'm ready for a W at Laker Turf.
That's unbelievable. Well, that'll do it for this week of Laker Connections. We hope to see you next episode, and we will catch you on the flippity flip.